Hey guys, Trina here. I am making a dish for supper tonight and want to guide you through it. It's one of my recipes from Plant Part Families. It's this handy little recipe here called Saucy BBQ Chickpeas and Green Beans. And I haven't made this one myself for, I'm going to say a couple of years since I've made this one. So if you have the book, have you made this recipe? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And I'm going to show you how to make it today. And we're going to talk a little bit about feeding families while we do it, because this came up in my Plant Part Families group the other day. Someone mentioned, I'm just going to get started with the sauce ingredients for this Saucy BBQ Chickpeas and Green Beans recipe. And I have a tea, and I just had a little chocolate. So join me. Get a cup of tea, or if coffee is your thing, tea is kind of my thing. Get some chocolate. Sit, have a watch. Let's talk and cook. I'm starting by blending the sauce ingredients. Hello, I need my glasses for a second to see your name, Allie. Hi, Allie from Northern California. I bet it's nice there today. We're getting some spring weather here finally, so happy about that. We're starting with the sauce ingredients, and so we're making like a barbecue kind of sauce, but not using barbecue sauce to make it. So what I have in the blender, because I wanted to measure a few things out in advance because my videos tend to go on quite long, is tahini, and I'm doubling this recipe. This recipe is not on my site right now, but I'm going to try to get the recipe posted over the weekend, okay? But it is in Plant Part Families, and I think it's page 159. I just closed the recipe, which is not a great idea because I need to refer to it, because like I said, I haven't made it for a while. So have you made this recipe? If you have Plant Part Families, tell me, have you made this one? And I'm doubling it because, okay, our kids are now 19, 16, and almost 12. And if anyone has older kids, I mean, our kids have been plant-based since birth, right? Like, I've been feeding them this diet forever. But wow, in recent years, having them all as teenagers and active, like, they're burning through food. And this came up in my group the other day, kind of like an exhaustion that we can feel as moms or dads, making these like big meals that really almost last one meal, right? Like, I could make a meal like this when they were little and they would last a couple of days and I'd have leftovers. And now a meal like this really is one meal, and you really have to save yourself some prep by batch cooking. So that's why I'm doubling this today. And I already have some rice prepped because I batched a big pot of rice a couple of days ago, like full pot of rice, and had it for that meal, and then put the rest in the fridge. And then our kids tend to, especially Bridget, who's 16, she tends to make like lunches with it, and she makes sort of like stir fries, or she makes bowls with it. So batch cook is number one, but also, I don't know, I just feel like we have to like talk a little and get real about it's work, right? I mean, eating this diet is beautiful, and it's not the plant-based diet that's work, it's cooking from scratch, right? That's work. And you would do that no matter what diet you eat, if you're eating foods that aren't packaged all the time. And we eat some packaged foods too. I'm not saying we don't. Like, this is not the purity place here, and I'm not food policing anyone. It's just, it's a lot of prep. And I think that moms, you know, especially during this time, and we're at home, and we're not going out to dinner as much, or we're not ordering food as much, we're feeling it, right? The amount of food shopping that we do and food prep. So Angel's saying she loves this recipe. Thank you. And she doubles it too. Ah, so she hasn't made it for a while. So we're in the same boat. So guys, I don't know. Do you relate to that? Are you feeling that? Okay. I wanted to talk about that. It came up in my group. If you're in the Plant Part Families group, hop over and see. Because she was asking for like really quick ideas, like things that are really quick for dinner. And that to me involves having things batched in the fridge. Because when you have potatoes batched in the fridge, sweet potatoes, rice, nut cheeses, hummus batched in the freezer, and things like that, then you can pull together those components and make meals pretty readily, and it doesn't have to be based on a recipe. And when they get bigger, and when you're, you know, using a lot of foods every day and going through a lot of produce, you need to look beyond a recipe. And yes, have some favorite recipes, but know how to pull together elements. And that's something I talk about in my next book, Indrina's Kind Kitchen, which comes out in August, that I give you a recipe and then I give you ideas on how to renew it like another day. Like, here's your recipe now. If you have enough for 2 more meals, here's some ideas to do this and this with it. And I also give you ideas on how to work with batch ingredients and make them meals. So that's coming up in the next book. Hi, Mary. Yeah, she's saying her kids are grown, but she double batches recipes. I mean, it's just a time saver, right? So back to the recipe. So we're making the sauce, and I don't use nut butter in this because I tried to make a lot of recipes nut-free for people. So this one has tahini. So in the blender already is tahini, ketchup. You can use apple cider vinegar. I used rice vinegar today because I didn't have apple cider. But I think either apple cider, rice vinegar, or red wine vinegar would all work really well here. Now in my recipe, I actually say that you can whisk this in a bowl or right in the baking dish. I need my tea, but because I'm double batching it, to me it's just a little more convenient to blitz it in the blender, and I'm not like whisking and, you know, just doing all that. This is a little easier. I don't even have to grate the garlic, because when I put it in the casserole dish, I grate the garlic. You guys gotten a tea or chocolate? Because I know we got chocolate around. We're getting ready for Easter. All right, so I'm putting a couple of cloves just straight up in the blender. You don't need to chop them, just get the skins off. Get those papery skins off and get them into the blender. And so that's our base elements. I'm going to blend this first before I add the water. I have a few more seasonings actually, because when I add the water, I do find sometimes the garlic doesn't get blended as well, even with a Rambo blender like this. I like to call it a Rambo blender. It's Blendtec. So I'll do that real quick. And then we'll add the rest of it. So that's real thick now. And we're going to add tamari. So it's a tablespoon of tamari, but I'm doubling it. And you could use coconut aminos if you want to make this soy-free. I find coconut aminos are a little bit sweeter. And then the other element in this recipe that kind of gives it that barbecue note is Worcester sauce, or however you choose to say it. And this is a vegan one. I have a link in my description to it, so you can see what it looks like. There's a couple of brands, so you can go have a look at that. And to me, it smells just like how I remember Worcester sauce smelling. That's one of the brands. And a little bit of chipotle hot sauce. So this is the Tabasco brand, and it is vegan. I keep this one on hand all the time. Really like it. You could use chipotle powder. I do find chipotle powder is pretty intense. So, you know how much spice you like. What else have I got to put in here? Some waters. Oh yes, so I need some water in here. It's about a 1/3 cup. Where is my pitcher? Okay. And I'm actually going to add a tiny bit more water, and I'll explain why in a moment. So it's a little bit more than a 1/3 cup, because I don't want to chop onions today. I don't want to break out my onion goggles today, so I am not chopping onions. Here we go. Now the other thing that goes in here is a little bit of Dijon, which I didn't add today. Oh, it smells good. I didn't add today because I'm having a little bit of sensitivity with mustard, so I just don't want to use it. It kind of gives me a little bit of inflammation in my elbows because of all the chopping and such I do, so I'm omitting it. But if you have it, use it. So again, the recipe's in the book, page 159. I will try to get it posted the weekend. I'll do my best. What am I looking for here? Oh, I already have it. So the reason I added more water is because I don't want to chop onions, so I'm going to use these. I showed these in another video. Excuse me, I love these. They are, you guys can come through, it's fine. It's fire roasted onions, and they're dry. So when they go into the sauce, they're going to absorb some of that moisture. So that's why I'm adding a little bit of extra water. So I'm just going to put these straight into the casserole dish. Casserole dish isn't, and I'm just estimating, like, it's a 1/4 cup of minced shallot or onion. So I'd say about like a tablespoon to 2 is good. I'll just put in a little bit more. This smells excellent. I got it at in Canada at Winners or HomeSense, and then I went back and picked up a whole bunch more because they were really good. And then everything goes into the casserole dish. That's it. This is how easy it is. So there's the dish, and we have, it's 2½ cups of chickpeas. We're doubling it, and I'm just gonna roughly throw them in there. Now, people ask, can you use another bean? And you can, but I like the texture of chickpeas in this dish because they're heartier, right? They're a little firmer, they've got more bite, and I think for this recipe, that's kind of nice. And then I already quickly blanched some green beans, and I didn't have the full amount of green beans for this recipe, so I threw some zucchini in. And literally just for about a minute, because they're gonna continue to cook in the sauce. But I find something about green beans, if you don't blanch them first and you just cook them in the sauce, they don't taste, I don't know, to me they don't taste as good. But the other thing is this sauce doesn't cook very long, okay? So you can cook it really quickly and the green beans aren't gonna overcook, okay? So you can see in the dish, and they're really, really good. So, oh, I actually, because I haven't made this for so long, I made it a little bit of a blunder. You add the green beans later, but I've got them in there, so what? That's what we're doing. And that is to keep them a brighter green color. But you know what? I'm just not gonna bake it as long because this sauce does not take long to heat up and come together. I'm just adding a little bit more water to rinse the blender. I do that often, just a tiny bit more to rinse it. So guys, I have this in my video description. If you're wanting a high-powered blender, I have been working with Blendtec to get a discount for you. So there's a link there. You can get 20% off any Blendtec blender or accessory. Like, I love this Blendtec twister jar, it's called, and I use it all the time for sauces and dressings and like components like this and salad dressings. Like, I use it at least almost every day. I'd say every second day I use it for dressing or sauce. And my daughter uses it for small smoothies, so it's really handy for that. Oh, let's get down to the dish. And so I've got everything in there, the sauce and the veggies. And you can add more veggies. Like, I have some leftover blanched cauliflower in the fridge from the other night. So guess what? I'm gonna add some in there. Why not? And it means that there's a little less sauce, but truly you could use less chickpeas or just not cook it as long and the sauce doesn't dry out as much. Add a tiny bit more water, or if you know you love stuff really saucy, you could reduce the chickpeas or bump up the sauce. But I'm going to stir it through and you're going to see that it does have plenty of sauce. And I think that's everything. Like, that's it. That's easy. So yeah, the idea is you actually add the chickpeas first, cook it in the sauce, and then just before serving, like 5 minutes before, add the green beans that have been blanched, and then they stay nice and bright green. But you know what? Hey, it's okay. As I say, Martha's not coming for dinner. It's just us. So this is a double batch, and this is good. This will feed us. I am not kidding, guys. Like, the appetites are huge with my husband and the older girls, and Hope does competitive swim, so she really has a big appetite now. So this is how it works. So what I'm going to do later is pull out the rice from the fridge and just reheat it gently in the oven. I actually have to do this in my toaster oven because my oven has broken again. Anyone who has followed me knows that I have, like, I don't know, I bust out appliances constantly. So my new oven from October is broken. Apparently it heated too hot, and I said to him, well, how can it go hotter than the temperature setting that it is able to go? Anyways, at least it's under warranty, right? So this is the recipe. It's saucy chickpeas and green beans, and I added the cauliflower and zucchini because you can do that kind of thing with this. It's not baking, it's not science, like it's not a precise chemistry kind of thing. Red pepper would also be really nice in this. There's lots of things you can do. And then this bakes for about 25 minutes, and then it comes out looking like that. Well, you know, that is a professional food photographer, Nicole Axworthy, but it looks close to that. And it's delicious with rice, and you can serve it with, it's really nice to hit it up with a little bit of lemon juice or lime juice before you serve it, like just add that extra pop of acid before you serve it. That's really nice. Of course, our kids love sliced or chopped avocado on it. Avocado goes about with just about everything in this house. One of my daughters put it on a waffle this morning, so there you go. Avocado on everything. That's it. I hope you like the video and try the recipe. Page 159, Plant Powered Families. I will work to get the recipe up, and definitely jump over to Blendtec if you've been in the market. And I will tell you that I'm just going to show you this. This is the Blendtec I've had forever, and it looks a little bit dirty right now, but it's the original, like not the digital, the really fancy digital model. I think it's called the Classic Blender, and they have those refurbished, which just means they take the motor and like renew it if it ever had any like glitches, and then they put it in complete new housing. So you get a blender that is essentially new, like the base is new, the blender jar is new, everything is new. It's just the motor has been like refurbished, and it's almost better because sometimes they do have glitches. And that is the best deal. So if you're on there shopping, have a look at that, right? Like save yourself some money and get the refurbished. I've had that one forever, and I've had to get a couple of extra jars, but that base is gold. And I have the other model, and I still prefer this one. So just a tip. You're welcome, guys. Carol Ann, hi, you're welcome. And yeah, I'll be back sometime again with a recipe. Can't say when, just when it happens. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll be announcing the pre-order for Dream is Kind Kitchen super soon. Stay tuned. I've got lots of prizes. We have like 4 big giveaway prizes, including a Blendtec, O Cosmetics, Compliment, and Instant Pot. 4 huge prizes, and we also have lots of extra prizes, like fun things for pre-orders. So stay tuned for that. Thanks always, as always, for joining, and wishing you a beautiful weekend, many blessings. Have a good one. Bye.